Hello, Scary Dolls.
Hello.
I'm Mandy.
And I'm Nicollo.
And you're listening to Ghosts and Hoes. I'm just kidding. Scary Not Scary podcast.
Hello. Damn, I really wish we would have named it Ghosts and Hoes.
I know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
We'll take a vote.
We'll do voting this week on Instagram.
Can you imagine?
Ghost and we were gonna name it that.
Yeah.
That was the name for a long time, and then we were like, no, like people probably won't listen to it.
Yeah, but fuck people. No, I'm just kidding.
Ghosts will listen to it, and all the hoes out there. Hoes meaning you.
Yeah, because in my head I was like boats and hoes, but I was like ghost and hoes. Ghost and hoes. La Niña, La Pinta, La Santa Maria.
We're drinking margaritas. So we're recording on a Monday night, and these were actually meant for us yesterday, but we didn't record, and we were both feeling sick, so we didn't.
Yeah,
really
we weren't feeling it.
It's because we went to a birthday party and you got sick with the sun.
Yeah, dude, I'm literally a vampire. Every time I'm out in the sun, even if it's just for a little bit, I will freaking get sick. I'm not meant for outdoors. I'm not meant for outdoors.
Only meant for indoors in the dark. Everything's a song.
Indoors. And there's a SpongeBob episode where he sings that. Indoors.
Oh my god.
Anyways, guys.
SpongeBob is a whole vibe.
Hell yeah. If you're our age, you quote SpongeBob daily.
Seriously. So let's talk about spirits.
Yes.
I have a lot of them in my house right now, and they need to clean my damn house. They're just knocking shit over.
Doing random shit.
Playing with the toys.
Playing with Alexa.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah.
Guys, I have to tell y'all what happened to me yesterday. So I'm laying down, right, on the couch. And then Mandy gives the baby, Sabrina, a shower. And then brings her back out and puts her on the couch with me. And then she goes with Jason. Me, I'm like babysitter over here. Just kidding. Sabrina starts falling asleep. And as soon as her little eyes start like, you know, like when kids are going to go to sleep and their eyes start closing, like as soon as her little eyes start closing, Alexa starts playing baby music, super low, but it's like rock-a-bye baby, but like super low. And I was like, what the fuck? How do you know, bitch, that she's going to sleep?
So then I come back from the bathroom or from the restroom, and then I go and I sit down in my chair, and I heard music, and I thought maybe it was like, I thought at first maybe you were watching TikTok.
Yeah.
And then like when I sat down, it was behind me, and I look at the Alexa, and then I look at Gato, and she was like, it just started playing by itself. I was all, seriously?
Yeah. It did.
But it was like the Sleepy Baby Time instrumental playlist. And I don't have that freaking playlist on my Spotify. And my Alexa's connected to my Spotify. So, and in order to turn her on, like you have to say, Alexa, play blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So.
And I wasn't saying that.
Yeah, because all of our Echo device or all of our devices around the house, they all have different names. Because if we say the one name, then all of them would turn on. So everyone has a different name in each room. Yeah. But yeah, like she was playing little lullaby music,
and I was like, okay, spirit, I guess you're cool.
No, and then like something's been going on with Gato's spirit, like I don't mean like a ghost following her, I mean like her literal spirit,
my spirit,
because yesterday too I was in the living room and I looked up and I saw her walk like towards like where the living room was, and she was like, come here, like she waved at me and signed at me like, come here. So then I got up and I was walking over there, and I'm like, what happened? And she was in the middle of picking something from the floor. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, you called me over here. She's like, no, I didn't. I was like, yeah, you did. I saw you walk to the living room and say, come here. And that's when I walked over here. She's like, well, I was going to walk over there, but then I got distracted by this trash on the floor.
Yeah.
I picked it up.
So I was literally like, if my spirit was 10 seconds in front of me, I was literally about to go tell her to come here because we were cooking something, and it did it for me.
Yeah.
Thanks,
and then today...
Girl. Oh, yeah.
So today I'm in the living room. I'm talking to my mom. I'm sitting on my ottoman. I don't have anything on my TV, so my TV's off, but I can see the reflection from the TV to the window in the kitchen, and I have the window open. And I knew Gato was coming over. But anyways, I was sitting there, sitting on my ottoman, talking to my mom, staring at the TV because I'm looking at the reflection. And then I just see like a face come up to the window, and I'm like, who is that? And then I turn around and then I look through the reflection again, and I was like, oh, it's Gato. And my mom's like, what happened? I was like, she's trying to scare me, peeking her head through the window. So I get up and I'm like, you scared me. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, I saw a face through the window and I realized it was you. And she was like, I didn't put my face in the window.
No, I was like, I didn't even have to go past your window because I parked on the other side today. So it wasn't me putting my face on the window, but it looked like me.
It was your spirit.
I don't know what's going on with her. She's on her own time.
Literally on her own time.
You're wild, girl. Get your ass over here before I die. What the fuck are you doing?
Don't stray too far.
I know.
Did you listen to our our astral projection
fucking
episode?
Sleep paralysis demon.
Don't get taken now. She needs you.
I know. I'll find a new one.
Okay, so I'm just going to jump into scary news because there's been some crazy shit going on. Okay, so we all know the new Scream movie came out. Yeah. There's been a Ghostface epidemic going on. People have been dressing up like Ghostface and like have been just standing in the middle of the street. So it's just like the clowns.
Oh my God, I love that.
But people are doing that with the Ghostface, which I thought was like really cool. I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm actually waiting for it to come out on, what is it, like on like one of the little streaming sites.
Oh, like TV?
Yeah, because... got time. Yeah. And I don't like people.
Sometimes I don't feel like going to the movies.
I have my days where like I want to go to the movies. But yeah, so there's been a lot of Ghostface sightings everywhere. So if you run into Ghostface, tell him I said, what's up, baby?
What's up, baby?
I'm gonna buy Tim a Ghostface costume.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you are. You little freak. Let me take a sip of my sweet tea. My mouth's a little dry.
You take a sip of my marg.
Oh, yeah. And a sip of my marg. I got both.
Okay.
Perf.
So in other news, so this was actually something that uncovered back in February. Have you heard about Abby Choi? She is a model in Hong Kong.
No.
Okay. So on Wednesday, February 22nd, she went missing. She went missing because she failed to pick up her daughter. So family and friends called the police and were trying to figure out where she was. So the last person she was with was her ex-brother-in-law. So she's divorced. She divorced her husband. And her brother-in-law was her driver. So the last person to be with her was the brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. Police were trying to locate him. They couldn't find him anywhere. So then they made her husband the number one suspect. They're searching and searching for him. They ended up finding him on some pier in some little like town in Hong Kong. They arrest him. They get him talking. They ask him where the brother is. He sends them to like some little town where it's like this 3-story, like $3.5 million house or something like that. So they go, they search the house. They find an ice chest with 2 legs. A torso, a pot with torso and some ribs, and then another pot with a head cooking in it, and it happened to be Abby Choi.
They were cooking her.
It gets worse. So they chopped her up into literal pieces. They can't find her hands, and they can't find her upper, I think it's her upper, like, arms. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So basically, like, they chopped her up. I guess they were, like, cooking her. It hasn't been confirmed if they were actually eating her, but why would you cook her if you're not going to eat her? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. So basically what happened is the brother-in-law picked her up and said, oh, we're going to go pick up your daughter. Took her a different way, and then he stopped somewhere, and then the ex-husband got into the car, and pretty much they bashed her head in. And then took her to the house. His parents, his mom and dad, the brother, and I guess the property manager helped coerce her murder.
All of those people.
Yes. So there's a total of, I believe, 7 arrests that are connected to her murder. So it was basically her in-laws that were a part of it.
Salty motherfuckers.
Yeah, so it's still an ongoing investigation. They ended up finding her body 3 days later. So I believe it was like February like 24th or 25th when they actually like found
her
pieces of her body.
Oh, no.
But she was a well-known model in Hong Kong and very loved by everybody. She was so beautiful. I went onto her Instagram, but look at her. She's gorgeous.
She's so cute. Or she was so cute. Stop. I'm going to cry.
Beautiful. And like my heart hurts for her family. My heart hurts for her daughter. It's just, it's horrible. Like,
this is where I believe where the system should be equal. You get your hand chopped off by a psycho person, then they chop your hand off. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
suffer the way you made someone suffer. That's so fucking disgusting.
So Alex Kwong, which is her ex-husband, is now arrested. They're still questioning them, basically like trying to figure out why. Like, why did they do it?
Why?
She was actually in the middle of a divorce, and it was like a 3-year long thing before the divorce was finalized.
Was it like a if I can't have you, no one can type of deal?
That's kind of like how I'm looking at it. Yeah. I mean, there's still more to come with this murder, with this case. So as I find stuff out, I will update everybody through scary news. But I just think that this is just, it's insane. And like, I mean, it's horrible in general, but just knowing that the brother-in-law who she hired, who she didn't have to hire or continue to keep him hired, you know, but she trusted him, continued to have him as her driver, and then they coerced this whole thing. But not only his brother was involved, but both his mom and his dad were involved.
And like, the fucking landlord, or what was he?
Yeah. So apparently, so whatever I found on like about this case is that the manager of the property knew what was going on, but he chose to ignore it. So he failed to like call the police. Yeah. So they arrested him as
accomplice.
Yeah, as an accomplice because he failed to call the police. He failed to help her. He knew what was going on, and he just turned a blind eye and acted like nothing was happening.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Pisses me off.
Yeah. Horrible. But more to come. As I find out more, I will let you know.
Rest in peace, little baby.
I know. She's beautiful. Beautiful model.
I feel so bad.
And then in other scary news, there is a new video going around online. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but there's been a lot of phenomenon on baby monitors. And there's this one mom, she did post on Facebook and it made it to the TikTok. She posted videos of her basically just saying like, look, this is what my son looks like in the baby monitor. And then she shows this other photo. She's like, who is that? And it looks like a completely different person in the baby monitor. And I'm not saying like somebody broke into this woman's house and like got into the baby monitor. No, like whatever this thing was like imitating her son, but it wasn't her son. It was something else.
Like a generic brand.
Yeah, look.
Ew.
It looks like an old man, like
an old man and a kid.
So that's her son. That's the baby. She's showing pictures, and then she shows the image.
Ew. Okay, you need to post that for them to see. That is horrible. Weird.
And it's like all the photos of her son in the baby monitor in the videos are like crystal clear.
Perfect.
And in this video, it looks like an alien or like Benjamin Button. Yeah.
I don't know. It also looks all pixelated, like iPhone versus Android.
Yeah. And then there's like a lot more other videos too that other people are posting like that. They jumped up in the middle of the night and ran into the baby's room because when they looked in the baby monitor, like it wasn't their baby. They saw someone else. Yeah. Like not like another person in the room, like someone else was laying in the bed and not the baby. So they ran to go get the baby. And then when they look back at the footage was also like pixelated and like all messed up and grainy.
Oh, hell no.
Creepy.
That is kind of creepy. TBH.
We used to have a baby monitor. Our Echo was our baby monitor for a long time.
Didn't you catch a bunch of shit on that?
Yeah, that's why I turned it off.
I'm like, I don't remember what happened.
Well, that
to it.
and then when those stories of like people hacking into the cameras and that one man that was like watching the mom breastfeed the baby, and he was
like jacking off to it.
Yes.
Ugh.
So that freaked me out. So I unplugged it and I told him, nope, we're not doing that.
If you want to see me on OnlyFans, just kidding.
Horrible.
Ugh. Some people are sick, dude. I think there's also a website on the dark web. Don't go to the dark web, please, guys. You can get tracked. But there's a website on the dark web where people just have put random cameras in different people's houses and you can watch people live their day and they have no idea that they're being recorded.
That's so scary.
That is
somebody could be watching us right now.
Someone could be watching me have sex in the parks and shit.
Or you know what freaks me out when people find cameras in toilets.
Yes. Or in Airbnbs.
Yes. That freaks
that one
me
video
out.
where the guy's like flipping through the channels in his Airbnb. We need to post this, by the way.
And then it's him and his girlfriend, right? Sitting in the living room.
And then it's a toilet. And he's like, babe, go to the toilet. And she goes and it's that toilet. Like someone had a camera on the toilet. That's, first of all, if you're a creep and you want to watch someone on the toilet, it's not going to be pretty. Like girls have periods and shit. Like why on the restroom? Like why?
People just have that fetish.
Like, do you want to see blood? Do you want to see us wipe our ass? Like, I don't understand. Let's take a sip. I'm gonna take a sip of my.
On that note,
cocktail.
I'm gonna take a sip of my drink.
Mm-hmm.
My God, it's so dangerous.
I can't even tell that has liquor. I'm gonna be fucked up.
On a school night? I mean, on a work night?
Damn, we still go to school?
Dang. Okay, well, I guess that wraps up our scary news. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into our topic for today.
Very excited.
Very excited for this week's topic. We are going to be talking about haunted Texas, but specifically here in San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Stop, we're gonna get sued, bitch.
San Antonio.
So I told Gato for this episode, what we should probably do is take pictures sitting on a chair, right? Somebody take our photo and then I can Photoshop it on a Texas where San Antonio is, and then we can have like the Tower of
the hemisphere. We're gonna make this so Southside.
And then we were like, oh, we'll probably get sued.
But you only know if you're from San Antonio who we're trying to copy if we sit on those chairs like that.
I mean, it's not really copying, but
yeah, everybody
we're just
does it.
Cosplaying.
Cosplaying, I love that.
We're just gonna cosplay.
So we did get a lot of people that were like, you should talk about San Antonio, which we did, but that was like way back when we first started, and quality was kind of horrible. So here we are.
Yeah.
10 years later.
10 years later. It wasn't even that long ago.
I know.
It was like
3 years ago.
What episode is this?
87 maybe?
85 episodes ago.
Oh, shit.
Damn, we're almost at 100.
We got a party for that
crazy,
100.
Right? Okay, so we are going to eventually do a part 2 of Haunted Texas. So for now, we're going to do specifically San Antonio folklore, haunted areas in San Antonio. And then the part 2 will like expand out throughout Texas because Texas is a big country, okay?
Texas is its own country, y'all. We love Texas. Obviously, we're from here. And if you're not from Texas, come visit because it's a blast. And go to Buc-ee's.
Not Busey's, Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee and Whataburger and Bill Miller. Just kidding. Just name all the Texas restaurants.
And Big Daddy's. And
come get some tacos in San Antonio, not Austin.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, super excited because we did have a lot of people that were like, you should talk about Texas. And I'm like, okay, then we will.
Yeah.
We are people pleasers.
There's so much to talk about because we were like, should we do like haunted Texas or Texas history? Oh my God, there's so much Texas history. I feel like I'll be back at school again. So we're going to do haunted Texas. But in this episode, we're going to be doing haunted San Antonio. So we're just going to be going over some folklore here in San Antonio. And if you're local, then you'll know what we're talking about.
And if you're not local, it'll make you want to come visit for sure.
And let us know when you're in town.
Yes. We'll let you know the hot spots, baby.
Oh, the hot spots.
The hot spots. Okay. I'm kicking off this San Antonio episode today. I have two little tales. I don't know if you've heard about this one, but it's the Huebner Onion House. Huebner Onion Homestead House.
Huebner Onion.
And it's on Bandera Road, so we can literally go tomorrow.
On our way to work.
Yeah. So, okay. So this one isn't really long, but there is a legend that says that in the 1800s, there was a man named Joseph Huebner, kind of like Huebner Road. He loved to drink. He loved liquor. He drank all the time. But one night I don't know if he was like at a bar or something, but he was walking home from the bar. He was already kind of tipsy. He found like this carriage that had like a bunch of like stuff on it, like tubs. He's like, hell yeah, more booze. He starts drinking, but he was so fucked up, he thought he was drinking whiskey. It was kerosene. So he drank a bunch of kerosene. The neighbors found him collapsed, and they couldn't decide if he was dead or just drunk, so they didn't know. So the neighbors just took it upon themselves to kind of just bury him. So they didn't know if he was alive or dead. They just buried him. Nothing happened, but then like years later, when a judge named John F. Onion, that's why it's called the Huebner Onion Home, because of the owners' names, I guess. They purchased the house in 1930. There were tales of noises already. So the noises were coming from the house. And then supposedly, like every time a horse or horses like passed by, the horses would like go crazy. And some people believe that Huebner haunts the property because he wasn't dead when they buried him. So some other people have said that they've heard like machinery would randomly turn on. You hear creaking up and down the stairs when no one's around. The plates will move and shatter for no reason. There is piano music coming from the rooms or from the house. And then sometimes you hear horse hooves at night.
Always the damn horse hooves.
Can you imagine though? Like there ain't no fucking horses here. I don't know what y'all think about Texas. I mean, there is horses, but like there's not horses like in the city. So like you can't just randomly hear horses.
There's horses downtown. I mean, we have the carriage rides downtown,
but they're not like out and about.
Yeah,
it's 3 in the morning.
It's more like in the countryside. Like you'll see some residents in the countryside like riding their horses around like to the little corner stores and stuff, but not too much in the city. I think there's just too much highway in the city.
Yeah, and plus they're not allowed to have like animals like that. So can you just imagine hearing horses at night? I would be like, shit, the Grim Reaper's coming for me.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. The carriage of death. So there's this other story, and I know a lot of y'all know this story. Okay, guys, so I'm going to talk about the Chinese graveyard. So the Chinese graveyard is on the south side of San Antonio. A lot of names in this graveyard were with the last name Guzman, but it's because allegedly the family that owned that graveyard was the Guzman family. So there was this man named Isidro Guzman. He started dating this woman, and I don't really know her name, but people would say that she was a Chinese woman. And I'm sorry, I couldn't find her name. I was looking for it. For some reason, the man's family forbade him from seeing this woman. They're like, you cannot see her. You're Mexican. She's Chinese. Back in the day, like stuff like that was real. So they would meet at his family cemetery, which is that cemetery, the Guzman Cemetery. One night on his way to meet his secret lover, I think it was like a stormy night, and him and his horse were struck by lightning. So they died. Him and his horse. The girl, the Chinese woman, was reportedly so heartbroken that she committed suicide at her lover's grave. So that was his family's graveyard. So they buried him there, and they found her body, like she was dead on his grave. And the family was like feeling so guilty, and they buried her next to him because they felt so bad, like that they didn't let them be together. And then he dies, and then she went and killed herself on his grave, kind of like a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing.
Yeah.
So some people say that they see a super tall, almost 7-foot woman at the cemetery at night. Legend has it that if you park near the front of the gate at night with your car shut off, windows roll down, you might have an experience of your own. So if you flash your lights 5 times, you'll start to hear voices and maybe see an apparition. If you don't get scared and try to run away, the tall Asian woman will supposedly walk up to your car and grab your arm because you're supposed to have your windows down. But there's also talk that this is supposedly where the donkey lady is buried and you can hear her screaming. Now, if you're not from Texas, you don't know the donkey lady. But if you're from San Antonio, you know about the donkey lady. So apparently she's buried there too at the Chinese graveyard. And they keep it locked, you guys, so don't even try.
And speaking of the donkey lady, everybody knows about the donkey lady here in San Antonio. But before I get into the donkey lady, Chinese graveyard, my grandma told me a story about the Chinese graveyard.
Did she go too?
Funny story. So she told me that one of the first dates that my grandpa took her on was to the Chinese graveyard.
And he love
said
them.
That he took her there because he knew that she would be scared and he would have to hug her. She was like, I was so scared. I almost peed myself. And this is, guys, look, my grandpa's a horror fanatic. Okay. He's like, everybody knows this. He's like one of the big reasons why I even started the podcast. He's the reason why I'm like all into paranormal, like horror, everything. Right. But my grandma is scared of anything. She's scared of aliens, like the movie. We were watching Shadow Hunters, and she was like jumping with all like the fake CGI demons. Like,
oh, poor grandma.
My grandma's a scaredy cat. Okay, so I can't even imagine like teenage Veronica going on her first date with Roman.
Oh my goodness!
To the Chinese graveyard.
Of all places.
Yeah. So he left her in the car and got off and was like, oh, I'm going to go explore. And like she was in the car terrified by herself. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I guess her cousin went too because she met my grandpa through her cousin. So her cousin went too. And she was like, yeah, no, it was scary. Like, I don't ever want to go back. But my uncle Jesse, which is my grandpa's brother, always told me stories. He said that they used to go all the time when they were kids. And he actually saw apparition of a man, or what he thought it was like just a man walking to the graveyard, but then it started chasing them all the way to their car out the graveyard. So he said to this day, like, he doesn't know if it was like an actual like spirit chasing them out of the graveyard or if it was like the groundskeeper,
like a person,
right? Yeah, but he was like, whatever it was, it scared the crap out of me.
Yeah. So this is, now they keep it locked, and they keep it locked because of all these like legends that happen, and then people start going like generations, like their parents went and then their parents went and then we went, and now they keep it locked. So I think they only open it to like 4 p.m.
People do like a lot of witchcraft and stuff on the graveyard, so just respect for the families and the bodies.
Family.
Like,
and it was a small
closed
family graveyard. So yeah, so now they keep it closed. So don't try and go and bother them. But yeah, they had to close it because they were finding voodoo dolls, pennies on the floor in a circle. Like, they were just finding a lot of stuff. Yeah.
And there's a lot of ghost tours that they do out there too. So
we should do one.
We'll do it the next time they do one. We'll let everybody know so y'all can come and hang out with us at the Chinese graveyard. I'll take my grandma. No, poor grandma. No, she'll have a heart attack.
Poor baby.
Seriously, she gets scared. Okay, so jumping back into the Donkey Lady Bridge here in San Antonio. So there's different legends about the Donkey Lady. Me growing up, I've heard so many different legends. There's one version that it was just a lady who made a deal with the devil that went wrong. And basically, like, she wanted to be like this beautiful woman, and the devil's mischievous, and she didn't hold up her part of the deal. So the devil, to pretty much punish her, made her half human, half donkey. There's another version of it where it all started when a farming family living outside of San Antonio met a very horrific end. So it was a farming family. They lived out in the country, and basically he set fire in his own home. He murdered his children, and his wife got caught up in the fire, and she was so horribly disfigured from all her burns. Her fingers melted into like they melted down into stumps, and then like it created like a hoof-like appearance on her hands and her feet. Her skin and her face were so charred it gave her almost like a face of a donkey. So that's one legend, and that's why like she has like this donkey-like appearance. And they say when you hear her screaming, it's because she's grieving the loss of her children and the betrayal of her husband. And there's really no concrete evidence of like these different versions. Like I said, it changes throughout generations. So there's another version too, where I believe it's still the husband, the farmer husband and the wife. The husband ends up killing the son, and again, the fire thing happened, but this time the husband beat the wife so horribly that she was disfigured, and then her skin melted and she morphed into what looked like a donkey, or like she made some kind of deal with the devil for him to like bring her back to life, or not back, but like make her stronger in the afterlife to like wreak havoc on the husband. So now whenever you go to like the Donkey Lady Bridge, she haunts Elm Creek and torments anybody who tries to cross that bridge. There's so many stories and so many versions. I remember going there when I was younger. We did kind of get close to the creek, but my cousin was really freaked out, so my uncle turned around and left. But now they have it blocked off.
Yeah,
but if you still go up to the bridge and like park where it's blocked off and try to walk over there, supposedly you will hear a woman screaming, but it also sounds like a donkey. So there's been a lot of reports that there's actually domestic donkeys that are somewhere out there, like in the farm area. So that's what everybody's hearing. And if you've never heard a donkey scream, it's actually kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
It's like terrifying and like funny at the same time. Yeah. But also like, I have some friends that went out there, and he said that when he was about to cross the bridge, they heard like hooves on the floor or like on the ground, and then they were getting closer and they were getting faster and faster and faster, and then they heard the lady scream. Like it was like a mixture of a lady scream and a donkey, and they ran to their cars and drove off. So he said when he was driving off that his headlights were like blinking on and off, and then it turned off at one point, so they were like driving in the dark, like blind in the dark, trying to get out of there, and they were like all freaked out.
What were we doing as high school kids going over there?
I have no idea. There's even some reports that if you just go up to the bridge and sit there, don't get out of your car, but if you go up to the bridge and sit there, you'll have some damage to your car. So you'll hear hooves walking around the car. You'll hear scratches around the car. It's almost like similar to the railroad tracks, the ghost tracks. But when you leave and you get out of your car to inspect it, supposedly you'll see like like dents in your car, and then you'll see like long scratches from the woman too on the car. So there's been reports for that too from the Donkey Lady Bridge.
I remember when I went, but it was just super dark and I didn't really hear anything but rustling in the bushes. But hey, we were young.
It's been so long. Like,
yeah. But yeah, it's a thing, guys. Everybody goes to these sites to, it's a thrill. It's a thrill to go.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many versions too of the legend. It's like, what's real?
Yeah. What's the real one?
I feel like if I were to have my own town, I would want like a documentary of like the like a town Bible, like but not a Bible.
Yeah. A town history.
Yeah, because there's even another story where like she fell into the river, but they couldn't find her body, so that's why like she haunts that area or whatever. It's kind of similar to the La Llorona. Like she fell into the river and they can't find her, so she just haunts that area. But yeah, I think we drove by there, right, with Ashley, and she freaked out.
Yeah, but it was daytime. It
was all blocked off, so you can't go across it. But
we would have stopped. I would have stopped.
Yeah, we would have. There's a lot of ghost hunters too. So if you go on YouTube and type in Donkey Lady Bridge San Antonio, there's a lot of local ghost hunters that do a lot of investigations there. There's a lot of locals that have investigations there. There's one video that I found where it's actually a local ghost hunter crew. They caught the screaming and the sound of hooves on the floor. I need to look for it and I'll post it on our Facebook group that we have. But yeah, it's pretty interesting.
I love to hear like the sounds, like when people actually find the evidence. I love to hear that.
Yeah, and then they like slow the video down and you rewind it and you hear the yeah.
Like I want to go ghost hunting like that, like with people that do that. Like we should reach out to them. Hi, we want to ghost hunt with y'all.
Hi, let us come out with y'all. We're cool.
We're cool.
You'll like us, I hope. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to cover is pretty interesting. And I actually didn't know this about San Antonio. And me being a San Antonio native, I'm kind of disappointed that I never heard about this. So apparently San Antonio has what's called a suicide oak tree. So this is actually in the Alamo Heights area. And this oak tree was apparently where way back then we would like go and like hang people on there. But the legend really got its name because of this story. So there was a young girl that had just gotten into a very heated fight with her boyfriend. He was a motorman of the Alamo Heights streetcar line, and it seemed that the relationship was very like up and down that whole week. They got into this huge argument. She got off his car and like he drove off pissed off and like left her in the middle of the road. So at midnight, she was desperate and alone. She was very upset. She was in her emotions, and basically she crawled up on top of the hill and got on top of the oak tree. She tossed the rope over one of the branches and jumped off the chair with the noose hanging around her neck. It was a poor man's noose, and it ended up choking her. Her spine didn't snap on account of the fall, but the next day when her ex drove up his daily route, he found her withered body dangling from the branches. Less than a week later, he came up to the spot and swung by the neck from the very same limb. So he also killed himself. So it's kind of similar to the Chinese graveyard story. So because he felt so guilty and like he was so heartbroken, he went and he killed himself too. And so a lot of people say that whenever you go to that area, or back then when the oak tree was there was a lot of reports that there's hunting figures on the landscape. On the corner of your eye, you'll see somebody kind of swinging from the branches. And then others say that these spirits haunt you if you, how do you explain it? Like when you're already like emotionally distraught, the spirits will mess with your emotions to try to persuade you to end your life too, and like give you suicidal thoughts. So there's a lot of paranormal investigators who swear that they can also hear the branches of the tree where it sounded like there's bodies like swinging from them. Or like they'll hear sounds of ropes like sliding through the tree branch. Or they'll just like feel like this dread, like this emotional dread where like it's almost like the will to live just like gets sucked out of you. So something happened to this tree. So there's two different reports that I found. I found one report that this tree was actually taken out of the topping of the hill in the Alamo Heights area and was transferred somewhere else. There's another one where I found where it was like this huge storm that happened and the tree snapped in half and fell apart. So the city cleaned it up and threw it out when they picked up the brush. So I'm really not sure which one's true, but apparently we had like an obituary about this oak tree, and it had its own obituary like in
That's cute.
in the newspaper here in San Antonio. Apparently this oak tree was like over 100 years old, so it was like well known here in San Antonio. But recently, nowadays, when you drive through the area, if you go to that specific spot where the suicide oak tree used to lay or used to stand, you still get those thoughts of dread. There's been a lot of reports that people do see apparitions in that area too. Or like if you go and you investigate at 3 a.m., you'll hear the sound of a noose swinging from a tree branch, even though the oak tree is not there.
Okay, I want to do that.
So now I kind of want to go over there and like, I'm curious.
We should.
I've never heard about this.
Me neither.
Like when I was researching, I was like, what? Oh, actually, I take that back. The oak tree was estimated to be about 300 years old. Not 100, 300 years old. So
dang.
Yeah.
Now we're going to have to stay up one weekend at 3 a.m. and go investigate.
So there was an actual obituary from, I think it was the young man that killed himself. So in the young man's obituary, it said that they were blighted lovers that took their lives by a variety of means under the same branch. So I guess he killed himself on the same branch. So they like put that in the obituary. They also put that legend in the obituary of the oak tree when it was destroyed, or we don't know what really happened to it. There's one article that said that it was taken out. Another article said that it was destroyed in a storm. We don't know.
I love that.
So that's the legend of the suicide oak tree here in San Antonio.
Guys, we have so many scary things in San Antonio. It's like scary.
There's a lot.
There is a lot.
We went on tour with RJ Ghost Tours. Like, there's so much stuff downtown besides the Alamo. Like,
so much stuff downtown.
When you Google San Antonio hauntings, the first thing that's going to pop up is the Alamo. But there's like little hauntings here and there downtown. And then we went with the Curious Twins. I mean, they do so much. They do the Riverwalk. They do the graveyards. They do overnight stays at the Black Swan Inn.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much to cover. So we can probably do like a part 2, like on a live, or a part 3 on a live show or something just for San Antonio. But there's so many legends out there. And this is just San Antonio. This isn't including like
other places or like other little towns around us, like Lubbock.
If y'all haven't listened to our Black Eyed Kids episode, that legend started here in Texas.
Yeah.
The very first sighting of Black Eyed Kids started here in Texas. So
we are haunted.
We're a creepy state.
I love it.
I love it too. Creepy people were born here. Born and raised. Born and raised here in San Antonio.
So yeah, there's a lot of creepy places here. We can only do so much in one episode.
Yeah, we're literally probably going to do like a part 2. Yeah. There's so much.
We might even redo our part 1. Our first episode. Don't listen to it, please.
Don't bring it up, and then they're gonna be curious and go listen to it.
No.
You know what we should do? We should go by these places and take pictures and post them on our Instagram. I really want to go to the Alamo Heights area and see like what's there.
I really want to go to that tree, and I want to go to that onion house that I talked about.
The onion house. Does it smell like onions there?
Yeah. But do you have any scary stories that happened to your family? I have a lot.
That like here in San Antonio? Yeah. Well, a lot of mine has to do with like the lechuza, and
I love those stories.
Demons, witchcraft.
Yeah.
I have a lot.
Me too. And they're all San Antonio.
They're all here in San Antonio. San Antonio. Do you? What are some of your stories?
I have this cousin, all my family, most of them, like the paranormal. Apparently there's this hotel, and it's not there anymore. It was burned down a long time ago. But during the daytime, I think it was just like a burned down place. And all that was left was like a little fountain. And this is on Presa Road. Presa Road, if you don't know, here in San Antonio, it's a little scary. So my cousin, he likes to explore. Like it's my cousin and his brothers and then my brother, and they're all the same age. Teenage boys. They love to explore creepy shit. So apparently, and I only remember because I was like 4 years old, and my aunts and my mom were at my aunt's house, and they're like, well, we can't find him. Like, where is he? Apparently, they went to go like explore this burned down hotel, and my cousin said that as soon as he walked in, his mind just like blanked out. His mind went blank, and he could hear the birds chirping. He could hear, but this was late at night, and he could hear the water fountain flowing, but there's no water. He could hear girls laughing, having a good time by the pool, but there's no pool because everything was burned down. So he said as soon as he like walked into that area, his kind of mind just went blank, and he started seeing like what the hotel used to be like. And so then he's walking around and his mind is just blank. Then apparently nobody could find him. Nobody could find him. Everyone got off, tried to look for him. He wasn't even at that burnt hotel anymore. He was 2 streets down talking to himself, walking. Like something had like gone from the hotel and gotten inside of him or something. And they just found him walking somewhere like 2 streets down, just with a mind, like a blank mind. And when
just talking to himself.
Yeah. And so when they finally found him walking like randomly, they picked him up, and it took them a while for him to snap. And then I just remember they took him home, and I don't even remember why we were all at my aunt's house. I think there was a Spurs game going on, but I just remember everyone was like talking to him like, bro, wake up, like, are you okay? And he was just like zoned out. But when he finally like woke up, he told everybody like that he saw everything. He saw like the pool, he saw girls laying out, he saw like everything the way it used to be. And I was like, what the fuck?
That's so creepy.
Like, what the fuck got inside of him that made him walk around, and what was he gonna go do?
Yeah.
If like they wouldn't have drove around and found him, like where was he going?
I don't know. That's scary.
Yeah. So I mean, if we drive down Presa, I don't know if I remember the exact location of where that hotel was, but I just remember that night I had like the ugliest like stomach gut feeling. But then they ordered pizza and we all ate pizza.
My grandpa,
and I felt better.
When my grandpa was younger, he used to play baseball over there by the train tracks, by the ghost tracks.
Oh, yeah,
and he would walk home. And thinking about it, like when he would tell me that he would walk home, I'm like, Grandpa, that's pretty far, because my grandma lived over there by on Military and General McMullen, but not on your side, the opposite side of General McMullen.
Shit.
Yeah.
He would walk all that?
Yes.
What the fuck?
So he would go play baseball and then he would walk home. And like,
and that's dark over there, dude.
yeah. And like he told me that there wasn't like a lot of street lights, but he said that he stayed out longer than what he should have. So when he was walking home, it was a lot darker. And so he said that he was walking and there was this old man in the street, and the old man's like, you need to keep going. You need to make sure you stay on this path, because my grandpa said it was getting so dark that he was kind of like, he almost made a few wrong turns. And the old man was telling my grandpa, you need to keep going. You need to keep going that way, like telling him like which way to go. And then there was a headlight of a car coming, and it went through the old man, and the old man disappeared. So it was like a spirit like guiding my grandpa, telling him where to go, like what path to stay on to get home.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he would tell me like those stories, and then he said that when they would be out there playing baseball, like him and his friends, that they would hear like kids on the railroad tracks. But that's also that legend with the railroad track, which we also too, like with that legend, we don't know if it's like true or like not true.
Yeah, there's been a lot of mythbusters.
Because the neighborhood by the railroad tracks they all have kids' names. And so the legend is that neighborhood named each street after each child that died in that bus crash, but apparently there's no like death certificate or like anything about, I don't know.
A lot of people have been trying to debunk that story, but like we grew up with that story and we're gonna stick with it, and I'm gonna tell it to I'm gonna take my kids every Halloween. Yes, we're gonna take our kids.
We took Ashley and she was terrified.
Yes, but every Halloween it does get packed though, so just try to go a little before.
My dad used to always play baseball out there every Friday, and I remember he used to take me, and I would always play with like little kids. Like there was always all these little kids there, and I would play with them. And now that I'm older, I'm like, were they really kids that I was playing with, or were they fucking ghost kids? Yeah, because there was one time I was playing with this little girl under the bleachers, and my dad's like, Mandy, get over here. And I'm like, but my friend. And like, I remember vividly seeing my dad like looking. He's like, get over here, crazy. So now I'm like, well, was I really playing with like a human girl or like a spirit girl? Because I do remember playing with a whole bunch of kids. Like, and I loved going with my dad to baseball because I'm like, oh my God, my friends. Like all my friends are there. But now that I'm older, I'm like, well, were they really?
Yeah. There's this one place, I don't remember the name, and I don't know if this is just the south side of San Antonio or like that area, but I always feel something. Like I remember, I don't know if this is like a fever dream but I had an uncle and he was going down the wrong path, right? Like drinking, smoking. He was really bad at drinking, like really bad. They took him into this, like, it wasn't a jail. It was like it looked like a big white, like, home, like one of those like Mexican homes, like a villa, I don't know, but it was in the south side of San Antonio. I don't fucking know where it's at right now. I don't even know if this is real, but it was so weird. Like we would go in line and have lunch with him. Like we got to go for the day and hang out. And I just remember like There was like volleyball courts, and there was like, it was just like a big, I guess it was a rehab center for like alcoholics. I just don't remember where it was at, and I don't remember if this is real. Oh. Hi.
Hi, baby.
What's going on?
You can sit down with mommy. Okay.
Are you okay?
Dia's telling a story.
Is he
Okay, now what?
Oh, sorry. I just don't remember if it's real, or because how you said you used to play with kids. I used to play with kids too. Like wait in the corner. But I don't remember if this is real or like I was dreaming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just remember like playing with random kids. And I remember playing with this like güerita little girl wearing an all white dress. And I was like, ¿Cómo te llamas? Me, a Mexican ass kid. And she was like, hi. And I was like, ¿Cómo te llamas? And she was like, hi. I'm
Just
like,
repeating?
Yeah. And I'm like, ¿Cómo te llamas? And she was like, hi. So I just don't remember if this is real or not.
Sorry, we got interrupted by Jason.
Yeah, we had a little baby, and he came and sat with us for a little bit.
He's like very tired today, so I don't know if he took a nap at daycare. Because he came home kind of like,
yeah,
cranky.
I love that little baby. But yeah, that's it. That's all I remember. Just this little girl.
It makes you wonder, right?
Like, was she real? And I don't even know if this place was real. Like, I just remember like this big white home with like, you know, like ceramic floors. Like, I just remember that. And that little girl just kept saying hi. Hi, hi, hi. And I don't know, it's because I was Mexican or what it was.
She just didn't understand you. She's just like, hi.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, it just made me wonder, like, shit, is it real? And everything here in the South Side is kind of scary.
Yeah, it is, especially at night.
Like haunted. So I'm like, damn, was that place even real?
And like also too, I remember like even over there by the White Rabbit, I remember me and my friends, we went to a show by the White Rabbit, and like we parked like in the neighborhood because the actual parking lot was full. The neighborhood in front of the White Rabbit was full, so we kind of parked on the side in the back neighborhood. And I remember I was backing out, and I saw these two little girls in the street. And they were just like fucking standing there in the street, playing with the red balloon back and forth in the middle of the night. Like, I don't mean like 8 o'clock at night. This was like 11:30, almost close to midnight.
God.
They look about maybe like 10, 11 years old, 9, 10, 11 years old, somewhere around that age, in the middle of the street playing with the red balloon.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was backing out, and they wouldn't move out of the fucking way. And my friends were like, no, just keep going. Like, this isn't right. Like, why aren't they moving out of the way? And I got really close to them, and I kind of like sat there. And at one point, like, they stopped playing with the balloon, and they were just staring at my car. And I just drove off, and I told the guys, I was like, turn around and see what they're doing. And they're like, we're too scared. Like, they were scared.
Oh my God.
So I looked in the rearview mirror, and I didn't see them anymore. So they were like, were they real or were they spirits? I'm like, I don't know what little girls would be playing like 11:30 midnight in the middle of the street with a balloon. And like, I'm backing out. You can obviously see I'm backing out, and they don't move out of the way.
Yeah, well, kind of like my aunt. She used to wake up every day at 4:30 to go work, right? So she would drive all the way down the street. I think I've already said this before, but she would see a little boy at 4:30 in the morning on a bicycle, on a little tricycle, riding outside the apartments. Just riding outside the apartments. And I'm like, what the heck? And she's like, I know that it was the spirit, because who's going to have their little boy running around their apartments at 4 in the morning? You know?
Yeah.
There's just a lot of stuff here in San Antonio that we're just so old and so full of stories and history and life. And yeah, that's San Antonio for you guys. This is only the top. San Antone. Oh yeah.
210, baby.
San Antonio.
There's so much more, but we would have to make a part 2 to this episode.
Which we don't mind. We love talking about Texas, love talking about San Antonio. This is where we're from.
Literally.
Love this.
Love it.
Yes.
I mean, kind of going back, just like, you know, like all the activity that I get here at my house. And this is even like from when my parents lived here, like me growing up here. Like, I remember stuff happening. My friends, would spend a night and they'd be scared to be left in my room by themselves because like something would happen. So I mean, and we don't even know the full history of the grounds. Like we said, there's so much history here. Like we don't know everything.
We don't know.
We just know that what was documented, and there's so much stuff that's not documented. So
exactly. So
who knows?
We are going to do a Haunted Texas part 2, but we're going to expand our horizons, not just San Antonio.
Yes, throughout Texas. There's so many good stories too that I came across today.
Me too.
Part 2. So we'll be coming back to this topic.
We'll be coming back later though.
Yes. And also we've been getting a lot of questions asking, so what's going on with the Reader Choice Awards? Well, we won't know until March 26th. That's Sunday. When the papers come out, we will know if we placed and where in that place we are. So on the 26th, make sure you go out to HEB, go to your corner store.
Get a paper.
Go get the Express newspaper. And
I'm so nervous.
I'm going to wake up super, super early that morning to go get the paper. And then I'm going to throw up and call Gato.
Oh my God. Should pick me up. We'll go get it at the picnic by my house.
I know. Oh my God. I'm so nervous.
I'm nervous too.
I'm super excited though. So fingers crossed, help us manifest and put it into the universe that we
get
placed.
number 1. Hopefully.
I know. I hope we got number 1. I'll throw up and cry.
Me too.
I'll cry happy tears.
Yeah, same. I will.
And if we did, then we will celebrate big.
For sure.
Yeah, so
we'll have a party.
March 26th, keep an eye out. But if you have any local legends or any experiences here in San Antonio, if you're a San Antonio native, or even if you're just passing through, send us your stories at scarynotScaryPodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on all of our social media. Our main account is going to be our Instagram at scarynotScaryPodcast. You can also message us on Instagram as well. Make sure you rate and review us on all the major platforms, iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you listen, rate and review. And I believe that's it.
That's it, y'all.
That's it, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Be careful with the donkey lady and the graveyards.
And don't go to any graveyards.
Don't let the tall Asian woman grab your arm.
Or if you're into that, you can let her.
Yeah, that's true if you're into that. But until next time, remember to always stay scared.